And we are live with the amazing, the fantastic, the left Philadelphia Jaws on the floor at the Electric Factory last night. St. Vincent, welcome to Radio 104.5.
Woo! Thank you for having me.
Hi. This is kind of incredible. So we have things to talk about, like a ridiculous new album called Mass Seduction, the show last night, Jack Antonoff, who you worked with on the album. And perhaps we'll talk about things like Wawa. I don't know. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. But if you would be so kind and so awesome as to get us started with the song, that's how we like to do it here at Radio 104.5.
Absolutely. Here's a song called New York.
New York is in New York without you, love. So far in a few blocks to be so low. And if I call you from First Avenue, we're the only other sucker in the city who can handle me. New love wasn't true love. Back to you, love. So much for a home run with some blue bloods. If I last draw you on East Avenue, we're the only other sucker in the city who can stand me. I have lost a hero, I have lost a friend, but for you, darling, I do it all again. I have lost a hero, I have lost a friend, but for you, darling, I do. New York is in New York without you, love. Too few of our old crew left on Astor. So if I trade our hood for some Hollywood, we're the only other sucker in the city who would. Only other sucker in the city who would. Only other sucker in the city who forgive me. I have lost a hero, I have lost a friend, but for you, darling, I do it all again. I have lost a hero, I have lost a friend, but for you, darling, I do it all again.
It's St. Vincent live on Radio 104.5 after a heck of a show last night at the Electric Factory. The new album, Mass Seduction, is out, and it's brilliant. Now, it occurred to me today, I know that you work with Jack Antonoff on the record, but until about 2 minutes ago, I hadn't even looked at a physical record to see like liner notes or anything like that, because apparently that's the world we live in
Yeah,
now.
I'm like you and the rest of the universe.
Which I kind of miss and I'm a bit nostalgic for. And you work with Jack, and he was right there up on this stage doing a studio session with Bleachers a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
Had you worked together before, and how was that?
Well, no, we never worked together before. We met up and we had a dinner where we basically just told each other everything that was going wrong in our respective lives and bonded. And I sort of instantly knew from that meeting that he was the right person to make the record with, because he's so sincere. Irony is the end of all things. He's just like absolutely wants to go for the jugular and go for the heart every time.
Does it mean something that it's been this year? It's been so many women artists that he's worked with. Is it that comfort level? Is it that? I mean, I know you can't speak for Lorde or for Taylor Swift, but I don't know. It's just like, wow.
Jack is a really compassionate, sympathetic guy. I mean, he's like the ultimate cheerleader. He really encourages you to just kind of go further and makes you feel safe and everything. So I think people feel safe with him.
Cool. That's great. Clearly it worked. We're talking about Mass Seduction, the new album from St. Vincent. He also made mention, I kind of said, hey, St. Vincent's going to be here. Anything you can tell us that I can ask her? And she's going to be like, hey, how did you know that from the sessions or anything like that? And he didn't come up with anything in particular other than ask her about the masks she was like obsessively ordering during the process of making the record.
Okay, so I, like everyone, went on a little Amazon binge. We've all had those moments. And so I was thinking about, how to present this new record and like what it would look like. What's the show going to look like? And for a brief period of time, I thought, well, why don't either I wear face masks or have the other band members, either the other crew wear face masks? It didn't pan out. I ended up with a sort of like red gimp mask that wasn't quite the right feeling. And then I also ended up with a yellow mask that had a smiley face sewn onto it, which was very scary. So anyway, it was one of many bad ideas.
Or your next Halloween costume.
Exactly.
One of the two things. I was talking about the nostalgia for the physical. Is there anything from the pre-high-speed internet days, the pre-everything at your fingertips days that you find yourself nostalgic for?
Just the slow porn. I just want... You know what? I miss the days when it was just a scratchy VHS that somebody's older brother had to tape over Mary Poppins. No. Is there anything I miss? I mean, I really liked going to the record store, but we still have record stores, and there's like an amazing like resurgence of vinyl, and people are getting really excited about vinyl again. So, I wouldn't say there's anything I miss specifically. I think technology will always sort of dictate how we listen to music, but great ways of listening to music don't die, i.e. vinyl.
I like that you were a Record Store Day ambassador and you still carry that torch strong, clearly. That's awesome. St. Vincent is here with us on Radio 104.5. Do you have another song prepared?
I do. This one's called Los Ageless.
In Los Ageless, the winter never comes. In Los Ageless, the mothers milk their young. But I can keep running, no, I can keep running. The Los Ages hang out by the bar. Burn the pages of unwritten memoirs, but I can keep running, no, I can keep running. How can anybody have you? How can anybody have you and lose you? How can anybody have you and lose you and not lose their mind too? How can anybody have you? How can anybody have you and lose you? How can anybody have you and lose you and not lose their mind too? The last day sunset superstars. Girls in cages playing their guitars. But how can I leave? I just follow the hood of my car. Oh, you know, sageless, the waves, they never break. They build them till you don't have no escape. But how can I leave? I just follow my hood to the sea. Go to sleep. How could anybody have you? How could anybody have you and lose you? How could anybody have you and lose you and not lose their mind too? How could anybody have you? How could anybody have you and lose you? How could anybody have you and lose you and not lose their mind too? Oh, my Lolo, you really did it now. I'm a monster and you're my sacred cow, but I can keep running. No, I can't keep on running. Oh, how could anybody have you? How could anybody have you and lose you? How could anybody have you and lose you and not lose their mind too? How could anybody have you? How could anybody have you and lose you? How could anybody have you and lose you and not lose their mind? Oh, how could anybody have you? How could anybody have you and lose you? How could anybody have you and lose you and not lose their mind too? How could anybody have you? How could anybody have you and lose you? How could anybody have you and lose you and not lose their mind? Oh.
St. Vincent is live on Radio 104.5. It's Los Angeles. I should have asked you this question after New York, but I got a little bit distracted. Major points last night for Wawa and for, was it Chestnut or Walnut Street?
Walnut Street, represent.
You might have thrown a John in the mix.
Oh, I threw
too.
a John. I threw it right out there.
Oh, and we noticed. Have you spent a lot of time in Philadelphia?
I have spent a lot of time over in Philly over the years, and then the director of the New York video is a great guy named Alex DeCorte, and he is from Philly, and his whole crew is from Philly. So I first encountered the John situation making the video because they were like, "Hey, pass me that John." And like, "Oh, yeah, I don't know, this John, that John." I was like, "What in the world is going on? Who is John?" And lo and behold, I learned some local vernacular.
You sure did, and you actually personalized for those that weren't there. You sort of like you gave us our own little Philly beginning of New York. It was Philly.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the song New York, I mean, you really could substitute any city for the title New York, because it really is just about, being still in a city when someone you love has gone away, and everybody can relate to that feeling, I think.
Well, you helped us along. You really kind of took us there. We didn't even have to try very hard. It was incredible last night. We have so much more to talk about, and we have more music with St. Vincent. We are live now at Radio 104.5. What happens from here is we're going to toss it over to radio1045.com, continue with video on the web stream. But for the moment, we're throwing it back to the studio.
Radio 104.5 traffic clear.
Okay, now we're clear. So, I know that there's going to be a little bit of tuning going on. We're going to talk a little bit more, so feel free to tune and talk, or we can talk after you're all set there. There was very clearly not a band on stage with you last night. How did you arrive at that very strategic and bold, awesome choice? How do you go, I'm doing this?
Well, it was a thought process. So, one, I wanted to do something that I'd never done before, something that felt bold and also scary. And the idea of getting up on stage and entertaining a few thousand people with just myself for an hour and a half seemed very scary. So I kind of designed this show that's like traces the chronology of my career, because I have 5 records now. Mass Seduction's my 5th record, so kind of starts at the beginning for my first record and travels through 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and then the second half of the show is me performing all of Mass Seduction start to finish. I think part of it was because I thought for some people it might be their first experience of the new record, and I was like, I'm going to do a live lemonade. It's my live lemonade.
Love it. Just you. I love it. God, it's so it's very brave. And it's very different from how you started your musical career. One of, 78 people in a band in the Polyphonic Spree. That is a very vast Grand Canyon size difference.
Yes, it is. The Polyphonic Spree was like a Texas acid choir, like crazy rock shows. We all wore robes, and we did, I think the biggest the band ever got was about 30 people. So 30 people on stage, all just freaking out and having the best time.
Down to the amazing
down to one
down to the amazing St. Vincent on stage. Some of the visuals, so it started off very sparse in the beginning, just very sparse, and then it evolved. I got some almost crazy Willy Wonka vibes when it's speeding up and the lights and the whole thing. Do you draw inspiration from things like that?
Completely. And funny you should mention Willy Wonka, because I think I know the scene that you're talking about where they're in like the video tunnel and all the images are flowing past and like a centipede goes over someone's mouth and it's just really intense. You can ask everyone on my team. I totally referenced that scene in Willy Wonka, so it's funny that you mentioned that.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, my vibes are there. That's really that's kind of cool. You are on the road quite a bit, and the tour will continue tomorrow night in Boston, and go on from there. You did this collaboration, or you're doing this collaboration with a hotel where you're setting up recording studios in the hotel to sort of offer this resource for touring musicians. How did that? I mean, just out of need?
Well, it's the W hotels, and they've decided to put recording studios in a few of their hotels. And I just thought it was a really good idea, because being a musician who's on tour all the time, it's a really like, if you build it, they will come kind of thing. But I can think of at least 5 instances just right off the top of my head where if I'd had a studio at my disposal, I could have like knocked that song out or done that collaboration with that person, but we ran out of time or we couldn't find the space. So I thought it was a really good idea, and so I agreed to help him with it.
I love that. Do you typically write on the road, or for some musicians they never do because they can't do one more thing, and for others it's just like this constant flow of inspiration? What's it like for you?
It's a mix for me. I like to think of it like being a bowerbird. Bowerbirds like collect lots of beautiful shiny things to build impressive houses so that mates will want to mate with them. And that's why I play music. No, but it really is. It's like you just are constantly collecting, and you might not have time to necessarily put it all together. But when you get home, you have this like bag of ideas that you can kind of start putting together and making things out of.
And sometimes you can hop into a recording studio now at a hotel.
As a matter of fact, you can.
W Hotels. I think it's genius. You're going to be on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. I believe that's Monday night. Can we talk about the daytime assault that was Ellen? I don't know if there was ever anything that cool, or if there will ever again be anything that cool on daytime TV. Do you have a horde of new 55 to 75-year-old fans after that performance?
You know, it's funny. I think that my gauge of what is like acceptable or normal is maybe a little skewed, because in my mind, I was just like, oh, obviously I will wear this like fetish outfit on daytime TV for all of the moms at home. They'll love it. But it actually didn't really occur to me, but I was doing the rehearsal at Ellen, and I was in costume because, you need to see how it looks with the lights and da-da-da-da-da. And Ellen comes up and she points at my breast and she goes, those go inside. Like, okay. Well, what do I do with my ass then? Because it's also hanging out. No, but I worked with a great choreographer, this woman, Maya Taylor, who works a lot with Solange, and we just put this bonkers dance together and put these girls in red ace bandages and kink boots and called it a day.
And what a day it was.
Yep.
Are there discussions beforehand, like you can and can't do this sort of thing? Was there any of that? Or Ellen was like, I bleeping love you, so you do you.
Ellen's team was wonderful to work with. And I mean, we certainly ran the ideas past them, and they saw the rehearsal and they were just like, all systems go.
That's what I like to hear. Okay, that's kind of amazing. I have one more question, and then we're going to let you do one more song. Growing up, as you're falling in love with music, in your bedroom, on the walls, did you hang any posters of note of musical heroes?
You bet I did. At one time, I had 31 Pearl Jam CDs, including the singles, obviously, and bootlegs. And I had 2 Pearl Jam posters. I had a Nirvana poster. I think I had a Tori Amos poster at one time. I had a Soundgarden poster. And I think I had a Bad Religion poster. Weirdly.
No, it's badass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Grunge girl, though. I mean, I guess it's kind of the time, right?
Totally of the time.
Yeah, and still of the time in 2017, let's be honest. Radio 104.5, we're here with St. Vincent, and you have one more song for us.
This one's called Slow Disco.
I sway in place to a slow disco and a glass for the saints and a bar for the road. Am I thinking what everybody's thinking? And I'm so glad I came, but I can't wait to leave. Slip my hand from your hand, leave you dancing with a ghost. Slip my hand from your hand, leave you dancing with a ghost. Well, it's blood in my ears and a fool in the mirror and a page of mistakes. Couldn't get it any clearer. Am I thinking what everybody's thinking? And I'm so glad I came, but I can't wait to leave. Slip my hand from your hand, leave you dancing with a ghost. Slip my hand from your hand, leave you dancing with a ghost. Don't it need a slow dance today? Don't it beat a slow dance today?
you.
St. Vincent is live and stripped back and amazing and wonderful here at Radio 104.5. We're so glad you got to spend a little bit of extra time in Philadelphia and spend this time here with us today. It's been an incredible pleasure, and we're so thankful for the songs and for the music and for all of it. So thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
One more time for St. Vincent.
Thank you.